All right.
Hey guys, this is Greg Porter here with Does It Serve You? And I'm sitting with, he's sitting in his car right now, Bowtie Terrance. He's out running the roads. And I know he's supposed to be staying home, but he's still got his hustle going. And he is dealing with some lender meetings and stuff today as a real estate agent. If he gets the video back on, you're going to see his bow tie. We call him Bowtie Terrance because he is famous car videos and real estate videos for marketing to market himself and the companies he works for in the most top-notch produced way. They look like solid. They don't look like they are solid music videos. One that elevates him and puts him on a whole other level in his marketplace, but just brings him to a whole new level of doing business and really raises that bar and sets a level. Terrance used to play college ball, Division I football down in the U.S. And so, Terrance, say what's up and let's hear a little bit about you and how you. Let's talk about the football to get started, just because I'll have some guys that will be interested in that.
Absolutely. What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on, Greg. Well, I mean, like Greg said, you know, football basically, I guess, gave me my roots. With being want to be competitive, and that's why I make these videos today. But yeah, I played college football at the University of Minnesota back long time ago, maybe what 15 years ago, 2001 to 2005. So a little while ago. I played with a NFL great, Marion the Barbarian being maybe the most notable. But played linebacker, and shoot, it was a great experience. Coming from Atlanta to go up to Minnesota was different, but it allowed me to spread my wings a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that experience. Do you feel it really set you up in pushing you forward and where you wanted to go? Do you feel like it delayed your life a bit because you're in that zone and that was so much of your life, or do you think it elevated you?
I think it was both. I think, and immediately afterwards, I felt delayed. I felt delayed for a long time because I allowed football to become, I guess you could say, the idol in my life, and that's all I wanted to do. So everything, all the talents that I had academically prior to me beginning to play football, I kind of just, not only did I push it to the back burner, but I just took it off the stove completely. And football was all I wanted to do. So when I didn't go to the NFL, I didn't have any desire or direction to do anything else. And so for a while, I went through a little state of depression because I didn't have my drug, of football, and I didn't have anything to substitute it with. So I ended up driving trucks, and just being over the road, 18-wheelers, being behind the wheel of a truck, was the best thing that I could come to do nothing and still be able to survive. So sitting behind the wheel, I kind of just come up with a lot of ideas that I would like to try, and I ultimately ended up going back into sales. So I guess me being sit down trying to figure out what I want to do, was a little bit of a delay. But the skills and the temperament that I gained from from playing football is what allows me to go through like times like what we're in right now, tough times, but I'm able to keep pressing forward because I was the most I ever weighed was 200 pounds playing linebacker, and I couldn't let my undersized be an excuse. I had to go get it done. So
it's awesome videos that you shared. Videos you shared, and you didn't. Well, I was like, man, he's a linebacker, but then I was like, man, he's a beast. Like you were a beast on the field, and it was awesome to see some of those clips that you shared. I'd love to see more of them because that is awesome. And I mean, for anyone watching this, they might have watched Last Chance U, and he mentions the drug of the sport, and then not getting that fix afterwards. And you talk about your mindset hitting the road as a trucker. Did you find that was too much time with your mind, or you you were able to use that in a creative way. Where you felt
I
like
actually
your mindset was there.
no, I definitely use it. There was a lot of things that I had like I've always been a pretty decent writer. Like for as creative writer. Um, like so, I used to write poetry, but I stopped. So when I began driving trucks, I started back, having so much time in the bunker, waiting for loads and this and the third. You got to do something to occupy your time. And I've never been a big TV guy, so I didn't watch any shows or anything like that. I didn't have my PlayStation on the road with me. I was just really focused on finding out what I want to do. So I was supposed to drive trucks for 1 year, and I did it for 6 years over the road because it was good money, but I didn't want it's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
But it was easy for me to focus on my thoughts because I wasn't doing like what I was doing wasn't my end goal, so that allowed me to focus on the end goal.
Nice, nice. And so from there, did you jump into the car business first off, or was there something in between there that you messed with? Or
yeah, I wanted so prior to driving, like immediately after college, I tried. It was 2006 when I graduated, and it took me some time. I must have started and quit, maybe 12 jobs in a span of 8 months because I would try something, didn't want to do it, and I was the guy who couldn't keep a job, to a lot of people, but I was trying to find my way because I didn't have football. So I ended up, around the time Pursuit of Happiness come out with Will Smith, and then I was just watching that movie inspired me to go get my stockbroker's license, and then I did. I went and got my stockbroker's license. Then I got the it was the Series 7. I ended up 7 and 63, but I took it a step further and got the Series 65. And found out that I didn't need it, but then I landed a job as a stockbroker in about 2007. 2007, and then I learned that I wasn't good at sales. So like I struggled. I was terrible at it. So that put me back. Like I got to find something. Sales is not gonna work. I got to find something else. So that's how I ended up driving trucks. Sales wouldn't work. I couldn't find nothing else. Drove trucks. But while I was driving, my grandmother had
2007, 2008 would have been a hard time in the stock market.
Yeah, but I was fresh out of college. I didn't know any difference. To me, it was just this is life. I didn't know, hey, this is life because we're in a recession. I just thought it was life. So, but my grandmother passed, and she didn't have life insurance. And then I said, you know what? I'm gonna go sell life insurance. So I started reading a lot of books while I was still driving about sales, and then I was fortunate enough to meet a top producer in Atlanta who had this killer presentation, and I learned his presentation, and I added my own little seasoning to it, and then I learned how to sell. Like I was selling life insurance, and then I did that, and then chargebacks, started happening to me because I was going about it the wrong way. Like I was selling life insurance policies, but I was basically my target market wasn't probably the best prepared for the policies that I was setting them up for, and then they end up canceling. It was canceling the policies, so I ended up having to find something else to do. So I drove trucks for about 8 months, trying to figure out what I was going to do, and I wanted to be say, you know what, I'm going to go do finance. I like math, I like numbers, I like sales. I'll do finance at a car dealership, and then I applied to a few places. They all told me you got to sell cars first. So I don't have any interest in selling cars at that time. I don't, cars wasn't my thing, so I didn't want to sell cars. So I drove trucks for a little while, and then I read books on how to sell cars, and then so you know what, let me go sell cars.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in 2016, 15 or 16. It was about 4 or 5 years ago. Here in Dallas. I started selling cars, and then I noticed, it was 30 salespeople here, and I had already learned from my previous books that I had read that it's hard for people to remember names, and then so I started wearing a bow tie because the most people who I meet is gonna forget my name. If they remember that I had a bow tie on, because nobody else did, then I could still get that customer. And then next thing you know, I'm bow tie Terrance.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You learned a really good lesson with the insurance going into the car business. You previously learned that lesson on pre-qualifying your customer,
Yeah, yeah,
and so you're able to carry that into the car business. The car business is a little easier for you don't have to qualify as bad to make car deals. You just got to have a pulse and a little bit of an income, and then the rest is the 86% is if they like you, and you hit that right on the head. It's you can be memorable, what you're doing to stand out, and it seems like a subtle change. But did anyone else start wearing a bow tie? Did you have anybody? 30 salespeople. That's a lot of salespeople to
yeah,
compete with. Did anyone else
yeah.
follow your
Nobody,
lead
nobody.
on the bow tie?
No one did. I mean, I had a few people come in. Since I've been working here, they wear bow ties occasionally. That's their thing. Like they might, a couple of guys have bow tie Friday, so he wear bow tie on Friday. But I don't know. A bow tie is not something that everybody. I mean, I didn't for a long. If you would have told me when I was playing college football, I wouldn't have been paid to wear a bow tie. You know, and probably to that, if I didn't have a purpose for the bow tie, I probably would have never worn it. I just put it on with a purpose. Like I need to be remembered.
It's awesome that you recognize that early on, and because walking in, even here, like we don't have dealerships, too many dealerships with 30 salespeople, and I'd say probably the most would probably be 12 to 14 in our major cities, but most of them are having
Mm-hmm.
between 2 to 6 sales staff, and it's frustrating. I know we in the car business, we go in and well, of those 30 guys, there's the old dogs. So they haven't talked to that customer in 5 years. That customer didn't come in and ask for them, but they sold them a car 5 years ago. So that's their customer. And that's just like, well, you didn't talk to them in 5 years, let alone the last year. That's not your customer anymore. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I talked to them a few days ago on the lot. And they're like, no, that's my customer. So having something be like, no, I want the guy in the bow tie. Really would have set you apart early on. And when did you start really? So you led with that. You led with standing out and being memorable.
Right.
How long after you got in the car business did you start really marketing yourself on a little bit bigger scale
Yeah.
than what everyone else was?
It was about I had been maybe I started 16 a year. Yeah, it's been about a little. I had been selling for about a year and a half, and then I was, at my study because I'm always reading or online or watching YouTube or something. But I can't remember where I saw that, but I read something or I saw a video that says it's not a. No, I was at a conference, not a conference, like a little training, and then the speaker said, everybody agreed that it's not what you know, it's who you know. And then he said that ultimately it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you. Because if people don't know you, they can't buy from you. So I said, okay, well, more people need to know me. And then I didn't know how I was going to get more people to know me until my brother, he's he's an artist. And I had got him a job with me selling cars. And we were, just out on the lots in one of the cars waiting for customers. And he was, telling me, like going through one of his raps with me. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's tight. So I started rapping, about stuff that I was trying to freestyle. I'm terrible at freestyling, but I was trying to freestyle. And then later that day, I was like, you know what, let me write something. And then I ended up making a song rapping about cars. And then I did maybe about 2 or 3 songs, and then I said, let me try doing a video. And we did a video at the dealership, and then I said, okay, this is it. So I just kept doing the videos. But That's how it happened. It was organic. It wasn't planned. It just happened.
I think when I first saw you, it was on LinkedIn, and I saw your videos, and I was in marketing and doing lead generation for dealers at that point, and I was like, this would have been a year ago, 2 years ago, probably when you and I first connected, and I was like, man, like these are killer. So then I went on like a whole hunt of like trying to find more of your videos, right? Like I was just trying to find, and they progressively really not progressively, they really fast went from like you spitting from your cell phone in your car in your lap, kind of like you're sitting right now,
Yeah.
to like full on
So I started.
drone footage, standing in front of mansions, like getting your whole dealership involved. That one was a great one.
Yeah.
And you really put yourself out there. You really made sure people knew who you were if they're coming to the lot. And I had such mad respect for that. But like, where who did you use to produce like that, or is that something that you self-taught, or what kind of, like, the quality is good. Like
Yeah.
it's straight up. I felt like I was watching MTV in the '90s, right? Like not like just like it
Yeah.
was, you know. I don't know if MTV
I
plays music
appreciate that.
anymore. I don't know if music. I don't know if MTV plays music anymore. So that's why I said the '90s. But
No, I appreciate that. But no, it was a group effort for the video. The audio, I pretty much like. I started with this set of Rosetta Stone headphones with this little audio jack they plug into a computer, and I don't remember what software I used on the computer, but I found the software and downloaded it, and I was recording on that. So like the very first video I did, like the quality at the time, I was like, man, it was killer. But like when you listen to it now, you're like, man, it was bad. And but
it's
just
still
like I
it's
mean, what
still
you,
good. It's better than what anyone else is doing at a dealership, right?
yeah, yeah,
Like you did that three or
yeah,
4 years ago, and
yeah.
what was it? 2016, I think, was one of the early ones, and or maybe 17, but one of the early ones I saw, and those
Mm-hmm.
are way better than what's coming out in 2020. So, and what
Yeah,
you're doing now, and oh yeah, go watch them. There's nobody doing that. Like, there's nobody putting that out there.
yeah.
So, you're one of the only ones that really, really puts himself out there like that. And some people get mad at me for saying that because they're like, "Well, I put myself out there and do that. I put myself out there." I'm like, "Yeah, no, I put myself out there too, but I was not, I was not rapping on selling cars and really putting myself out there. Um, that the quality that you did then, um, the quality you do now is light years ahead, but
Yeah.
what you do now is light years ahead of what it was then, but it's still light years ahead of now. So like
Right.
you've moved forward over the last few years, but
Right.
everyone is still producing below what you started with. That's kind of how I
No. Yeah.
feel.
I, I agree. Well, I mean, I mean, I'm kind of OCD in that area. Like, not I got this phobia of being stagnant. So it's like, I always try to one up myself. So it's like, oh man, like I'll write something, and if it's something that I had already said in one of the other videos, I'll like I can't say that. Like I gotta figure something else out so it won't be the same. I don't want to saturate you with the same content. Or like one of my biggest challenges is trying to find new visuals by and still being at the same dealership. It's like, man, that's how I came up with drone footage. It's like most of the same dealership, but now the viewpoint is different because I introduced a drone.
Mm.
Um, so that's the main thing, just trying to be different, not only from the market, but be different from myself, during my last production.
Yeah, that's I love that. You're always trying to be better than you were yesterday.
Right.
And what kind of results did that yield for you as far as recognition and car sales, hopefully? But like, did it play the way you wanted it to? Were you happy with the results of it? Was it worth the work?
I was happy with the results in the beginning, because people were knowing, the reason why I started it was because it's not who you know, but it's who knows you. well, people were knowing me, and nothing was more evident than people knowing me than I'd be at work and somebody say, "Hey, that's the guy from the rap video." Would they have purchased a vehicle from somebody else? So it's like, you know me, but you're not coming here and ask for me. so I had to fix that. But so it's like, hold on, let me stop this. Well, I was saying that part of how football is with me is because, like, I've had many opportunities to just throw in the towel, and I have told myself that I'm throwing in the towel. I'm not doing any more videos because it's not yielding me the results that I mean, ultimately I do this so I can get paid. Like I don't care who knows me if it's not netting me any money.
Yeah.
So people were knowing me, but it wasn't netting me any money. So I was gonna throw in the towel, but I figured out a way how to still produce content, and then I started doing Facebook ads using my content so I can capture contact info and then just set appointments myself. And if the people who I would miss, and just come in, they know me, but come in from somebody else, I would be okay with that because I got something from the video.
Yeah, you got you got some clout and some recognition and some fandom from it, but then you were able to set up a funnel, and it's what we're seeing here in talking to you is you try something new, and then you start to see some more problems within that process, and then you're solving them and
Right.
and capturing their information and getting them in there, and so then at that point you're generating your own leads, which makes you more valuable than anybody else on the sales floor, because you find in the sales, is it the same in Dallas where years ago, like 30 years ago, a business owner relied on a salesperson to bring them deals, and they relied on them to really canvas the community and do that and bring in sales. But with the change of the internet, I found in a lot of dealerships and probably real estate, a bunch of industries, there's a lot of people standing there saying, well, you guys haven't brought us any leads. You guys haven't brought us any, and it's like all the onus is going on to the owner, who's already got an uphill battle, and that's why this industry had salespeople.
Right.
Do you find that is that the same down in Dallas, that people are just kind of waiting for the dealerships to serve them instead of serving the dealerships they work for?
Yeah, that's it. That's a lot of even when I started, it was the same way. I'm from Atlanta, so when I moved here, I didn't have a network of people who I could say, hey, send me customers. I didn't, not like digitally or locally. Like I didn't have it's not my market. So I spent a lot of time, learning how to do service customers, or picking up the phone to like call people. I just use my experience from before to do it. But not a lot of people that I've found who start in the car business have sales experience. And it's no secret that if you want sales training, you won't find it in a dealership. So you kind of got to teach yourself, but just a lot of people aren't disciplined to teach themselves. And I'm just fortunate to have learned how to teach myself, and I just attribute it to football because I had to teach myself how to survive. But to answer your question, because I'm rambling,
that's all good.
Yes, it's the same thing. People they wait on you wait on the dealership to provide leads, and I do it too. You feel like if you're going to go work at a place of business, they should provide you some leads. But it's the people who can go a step further to provide for themselves who will be the most successful, because you're getting what the dealership serves you up, and you also generating your own. But I learned this through just me trying to be better. I didn't always have this mentality. I was just trying to be better. I wasn't like, hey, I gotta go get my own opportunities. I was just saying, hey, the opportunities I got ain't enough.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's what you could see was not what you wanted, and so you need to run towards something. And so that kind of brings us to now. Like, there's been a lot of changes in the marketplace and that, and we know that everyone's going through their time right now. You see yourself emerging from this time, serving in a different capacity than you thought when you entered it. You think you're going to come out of this too, and you're gonna because you got a lot of stuff that you can build on. Do you see yourself taking that as your superpower of the market, and really bringing value to multiple people? You see yourself doing that?
Yeah, I actually, in this little quarantine shutdown, I've worked on a couple of projects. I've done a few, you know, I guess rap jingles for a couple business owners for their business. But I think the how I'm going to be able to benefit the most is with the amount of knowledge that I have acquired in these past 3 weeks on how to more efficiently market myself. And I'm like I mentioned, I got my real estate license a year ago, and I kind of put it on ice. But this being laid, I made a post on LinkedIn saying how me being laid off has been one of the most humbling experiences because I mean I experienced firsthand that I was not in control of you know my life, and ultimately none of us are in control. But as salespeople, one of the things that drive us is the element of control. Like most people go into sales so they can control their income.
Yeah.
So I got into sales so I could control my income, and I couldn't control my income because I was laid off. So to me, it was humbling in that, okay, let me take a step back a little bit, and then I say, okay, how can I gain more control of my income? Well, I need to be able to not be laid off. So, so I've put my real estate license back in active because I can't be laid off as a real estate agent.
No.
So, right, you know what I mean? Now I'm still ultimately not in control. If the market crash, you can't sell no houses, you know what I mean? But I wasn't laid off. So that I'm gonna have some more real estate content coming because not a lot of everybody knows me as car guy, which I'm still in the car business.
Mm.
Um, but more people need to know that I'm also in real estate. So I think my big ultimately I will end up real estate full time. Who knows? I may have a brokerage one day, but real estate is where I'm headed.
Yeah, I see you. And real estate's a good place to be. It has its lulls every 10 years or so, but it has some great years in between. And if you're set up right, it won't matter the next time this comes around. And but then really, uh, I really after watching you the last couple of years, um, I watched you in the car business putting up these videos, and like, how is how is he not started putting this out and like really putting this on to I mean he's already on some you're already on this other level, so I'm not taking away from that, but put this on another level. So I
Right.
see you emerging from this as yeah, I'm going to go into real estate. But I think this is going to be a blessing in disguise because dealers that were like, yeah, that internet thing can work a bit, and we do our part, and we play the game. At the bare minimum, most people are playing the game. A lot of dealers are just bare minimum. They're there, but they're not really.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and
Well,
this
I
is
think it
forcing them to be there. This is forcing them to be there in a big way. And also real estate, like it's forcing people to do things that they should have been doing. But now this is
already.
like making them.
You got to, yeah. I mean, I've been fighting that good fight, because I've been in internet sales majority of my car business life. I've been, and most of the decision makers in car dealerships have never done internet sales. It's just all hearsay. All of their processes is hearsay. Or this is what somebody else told them that works. Um,
You
and
have
there's
to have
always somebody
30.
from,
You have to have 30 pictures on every car. That's the rule. You have to have 30.
yeah,
If you have 29, you're not going to sell that car.
you know what I mean? So, but it's gonna make a shift. I mean, hopefully people make a shift. But as far as me, personally, I think my biggest increase is going to be in real in my business because I'm going to like I've learned a lot of stuff that I didn't know in 3 weeks that if I had known prior, then more people would already know me. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think everything happens for a reason. I think you're just on the cusp of exploding. You're well. You have a huge fan base, and not all of them are in your marketplace. Like I'm not in your marketplace, but
right,
it's
exactly.
still
You know what? That's man. That is it's crazy. You know, I've even explored that idea. You know, man. You know, most of the people who even like when I first started, people would call the dealership and ask for me, and it'd be somebody in in New Mexico, somebody in Virginia. You know, it's like man. I appreciate you guys calling me. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it doesn't really do anything for me.
mm,
Uh, outside of that, I will say one thing that I do gain from all of this that I can't quantify, monetarily, is the uh, messages that I receive on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn from the people that are in the car business who uh, who are inspired to do something, trying to find what would work for them to, to be better and bring more people. So now that I get that, I like that. But customers just calling just to say hi because they like the video, I don't, I guess it's cool, it kind of leads to referrals maybe. Um, but
yeah. Like I want to be able to afford to do the next one. So do you know anyone that needs a car?
right,
Thanks for the phone call, but I need to roll some metal. I think you tapped into something there. I like when I was talking about the value that you're going to bring back to the marketplace after this. It's going to supersede your market territory, because people are going to see way more value in what you're doing, knowing that they need to have that nest egg there. They know that when something crashes next time, they got to have this. They got to have money in the bank, and there's not a
right,
lot of people with money in the bank. And I think that's where you can take your creativeness from your poetry to your rap to your producing to the. I think you're going to fall in love. This is what I see for you. I see you falling in love with a process that really serves outside of the immediate Dallas area, because
right.
you have a network of people that I think are going to really need your vision, and starting with little things like knowing that you need to stand out, so you put a bow tie on, right? Like there's a million of those things out there, and you got them. You got the ideas and the mindset to help people get there. Because when people are stuck, they're in a slump, right? A sales slump, and it's
Yeah,
like, well, this sales slump's gone for 14 days now. I haven't sold a car,
yeah,
and and everything you touch turns to ice. Um, right? Like so, you'll be the one to break that ice. and,
yeah.
and maybe get them a warm lead of someone that may want to buy something from them. And I think it will transcend the automobile industry to real estate, which your video in the real estate is awesome. That mansion is
Hmm.
sick. But but I think you'll start to move into other industries just because of your brand. And I think that's one of your biggest things is you're able to build a brand, um, just from being you. And I think
Yeah.
that will be help.
Ultimately, that's what's going on. Like I don't, I didn't start just saying, "Hey, man, I'm gonna go build a brand." I was just trying to survive. You know what I'm saying? And then trying to that's what it boils down to. I was moved to Dallas, um, and you know, in the industry that I didn't know anything about, and I didn't want to be mediocre. So I was trying. That was it. And then the brand being built was just a byproduct. Um, it wasn't my intent. But now that it's here, uh, I try to I guess capitalize or give people what they're looking for. I've tried a few. I mean, I've tried to do different things too with the brand, and it's like, nah, you're both Terrance. You can't change. I was trying to change my name. Nah, you can't change your name.
It's too late now. That ship
Yeah,
sailed. You're
Yeah,
gonna your old college buddies and teammates will tease you for life, but your bank account will be very happy at the end of this. So
yeah,
it'll be worth all the bow ties.
yeah, yeah. That's the plan, man. That's the plan. We got a ways to go.
Yeah, no, it's good. I think with all troubled times, like you said, you were trying to survive then, and now with everything, everyone's feeling the pinch right now, and it forces those diamonds to come out, right, with all that pressure. And I think you're doing the right
Right.
thing. So I'm excited to see what you do. I appreciate you coming on today and having a chat, and giving some of your insight on what you do and what you've done, and what kind of got you into the mindset to produce the things you do. I'm going to share a couple of your videos in the comments so more people can see them, and you know what, you and the money will chase, I'd say. So
Yeah, yeah.
thank you so much.
Oh yeah. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
All right, and to stick on there for a sec, so I want to talk to you after we go off. But the guys does it serve you? This is Bowtie Terrance Campbell. He's calling in from Dallas, and if you want to find out more of what we were talking about today, just go search Bowtie Terrance on YouTube. You'll find plenty of videos that will, and they're literally sales videos to sell cars. So go check it out, and you're going to take it as a note to level up your game if you're in some sort of sales industry. So have a good day, guys, and stay on the line there, Terrance.